Deepti Galaron joins me on the set for a look at what the papers are saying today. We're going to start with reaction to Theresa May's vote of no confidence.
That's right, a vote that she narrowly won, Jeannie, but the future of Brexit is still uncertain. The UK Parliament is locked in paralysis. This is the main Labour Party. The opposition Labour Party is refusing to meet with her until she takes the no-deal Brexit off the table. As the British version of Metro says, it's much like a Brexican standoff, a play on words of Mexican standoff, in which neither side can win. While we're seeing anger from the Daily Express. In yesterday's edition, they were urging MPs to unite the nation. The paper telling the Parliament today that it has lost the respect of the nation, also citing a poll that delivers a pretty damning verdict on how British people feel about their MPs. I quite like Le Figaro's editorial today. It actually likens Theresa May to Winston Churchill. In fact, the editorial is called "Where is Churchill?" He famously said, "Success is the ability to go from failure to failure without losing your enthusiasm." By this logic, Le Figaro says Theresa May is a roaring success. The debacle should serve as a lesson that maybe it's better not to close the door on Europe, but try and stay in it and make and reform it from the inside.
Next now to Zimbabwe, where hundreds of people have been arrested and assaulted by armed police and soldiers.
And it's making a lot of the front pages there in Zimbabwe. The harsh crackdown is the response by the government to protests against fuel price hikes that has actually made Zimbabwe the most expensive place in the world for gas. President Emerson Mnangagwa has called for calm and peace, but at the same time he is blaming the protests on the opposition. That's according to this paper, The Chronicle, that's based in the city of Bulawayo. He's also added that the violence will not revive the economy nor rebuild the country.
And we're really seeing that political line in the opinion pages today.
Particularly the papers that are pro-government, like The Chronicle. Their editorial today says this, quote, orgy of violence was organized by the Movement for Democratic Change Alliance. That's the opposition party led by Nelson Chamisa. The paper urging Zimbabweans to, quote, exercise restraint and guard against being used by selfish individuals, these merchants of violence. While a writer for the Herald, that's a Harare-based paper, also pro-government, defends the actions of the police and soldiers, saying they're responding to rowdy, violent behavior. Zimbabweans need to objectively interrogate the, quote, tyranny of the majority by a few wild individuals.
Now, a Turkish NBA player, a basketball player, Enes Kanter, has been reportedly the subject of an international arrest warrant by the Turkish government.
That's right. He's a center for the New York Knicks, and his team is actually playing in London today against the Washington Wizards, but he won't be there because the Turkish government has reportedly issued an extradition request. They want to bring Kanter to Turkey, where they want him to serve a sentence for insulting the president. He says he didn't go to the London game because he's afraid of traveling to Europe for fear that Turkish officials might use Interpol to have him arrested, or that he might even be assassinated. He's for many years been a well-known, outspoken critic of the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, on several occasions calling him a, quote, freaking lunatic, maniac, dictator, and even referring to him once as the Hitler of our century.
All right, Deepti, just to wrap up now, a family of tourists are quite literally terrorizing the whole of New Zealand.
It's pretty hard to tick off such an easygoing, polite country like New Zealand, but this rowdy, drunken family of tourists have managed to do that, so much so that their visas have now been revoked and they've been ordered to leave the country. So this unruly family of about 12 adults and children have been accused of the following: stealing a Christmas tree, threatening locals, littering, including leaving dirty diapers behind them, purposely contaminating restaurant meals with ants and hair so they don't pay for the meals, shoplifting at gas stations multiple times. Not a crime, but a toddler from the family has also flipped the bird at the public. Perhaps worst of all, at least if you're Irish, they claimed they were Irish when they're actually British. Anyway, it sparked New Zealand papers to ask readers to report on sightings of the family, even prompting the New Zealand Herald this week, as you see behind me, to put together a map of the travels of the family and where these alleged offences have taken place. The family, for their part, say they were just in New Zealand to, quote, see the hobbits.
Oh, my. All right, Deepti, thanks for that. Deepti Galaron with that look at the press today. You can get a closer look at our press review on our website. That address is france24.com.